Okay, so welcome. My name is Anne, and we'll be doing our yin practice today. So just checking in with props, possibly having a blanket, some blocks, or some household items that can come, like stand in for blocks. And then whether you have a bolster or whether you have some like a folded up comforter for to stand in place of a bolster, or a few pillows stacked up. So we'll start in a forward fold today. So if you'd like, props and stack them up, or if you have some pillows, you can set some pillows up across your mat. You can start with your hands onto your props if that helps. And then just simply make your way up into a forward fold. Right, bend the knees, right? There's no need to have straight legs in this forward fold. You can let your belly rest onto the thighs. You can even like stack up more props and even rest your head onto a prop if you like. And then just settle into your shape, right? Start to connect with your breath. We'll be here for about 3 minutes. So just noticing the quality of your breath. Try to make your inhales and exhales as even as possible. Try to really take some deep breaths, inhaling through the nose and exhale to let it out the mouth. You can even do a body scan in this first shape, noticing where you're holding tension, where there might be places of tightness. See if you can soften. Try to send some breath into those places. And then taking a clearing breath here. Inhaling through your nose. Exhale, sigh it all out. And then slowly start to bend into the knees. We're going to make our way into a toe stretch. So if you've got pillows in front, you can always set your knees onto your pillows or blankets. Or if you like, You can just take your knees all the way down onto the mat. Make sure your toes are still tucked under. If this is already a really deep stretch, you can have hands onto the mat if that's good. Or if it is feeling okay in your body, you can sit up onto the heels. And we'll be here just for a minute. So settle here. Again, still trying to keep your inhales and exhales as even as possible. You can even shift a little from side to side if that feels good. Just really getting a stretch through all the toes. Make sure you're still breathing. And again, take that deep inhale through the nose. Exhale to sigh it out. And then just start to walk your hands forward. Untuck the toes. And start to sit back onto the heels. So we're going to do a bit of an ankle stretch. So again, if this is really a deep stretch for you with your hands leaning forward, stay here. If you find you can sit up onto the heels once again and you're getting a stretch here, stay here. If you can go a little further, you can always walk the hands back. And then the final option, just start to take the knees up. You can also, if you have some props with a little bit of maneuvering, you can shift and just tuck some props underneath the knees. And again, just settle back wherever feels good for you in your stretch. And we'll be here once again for 1 minute. You can always, again, shift a little from side to side, just massaging a little bit the tops of the feet. This minute here for the ankles, you can always invite movement in your body if that feels good. And at any point, if you need to just shift around, you can do that as well. And take your deep inhale once again. And exhale to sigh it out. And slowly coming up, making your way back into a seat. And we'll set up for our next pose. So our next pose we'll do is dragonfly. So with dragonfly, it's a wide-legged forward fold, seated. You can sit up onto some blocks if that feels good. Or if you'd like, you can fold up a blanket and you can sit up onto a blanket. You can take your props and just set them up in front nearby so you have a few options when you come into your fold. So just sitting up with your legs in front, just have a bend in the knees and then just take your legs a little wider. This is a stretch for our hamstrings and back of legs. So if you're not really feeling that stretch, you can start to straighten your legs. So you can either take the legs all the way straight, or if you've got some props that you can rest underneath the knees, you can do that as well. So just make sure that you're sitting up nice and tall and your spine feels long. And you can stay here. You can rest hands onto the legs or in front. If you'd like to come a little deeper, you can start to walk the hands forward and make your way into this wide-legged forward fold. Again, option with the legs. You can rest some props or you can straighten the legs. So whichever option feels good for you and your body. Again, just settle, right? Making sure you're connecting with the breath. And then we'll be here for 3 minutes. And taking your deep clearing breath here, inhaling through the nose, exhale, sigh it all out. And then slowly coming out of this pose, take a moment to listen to your body and just settle into your counter pose. You know that your counter pose can have movement if your body's craving movement. If you'd like to just lay back in Shavasana, that's another great option. So just taking this time, finding what it is that your body needs to allow it to rest, to allow it to remember the work that you've been doing. And for our counter pose, it'll be 1 minute. And then making your way back to a seat, and we'll set up for our next pose. So our next pose we'll do is frog. So with frog, I'll show you an option without any props, and I'll show you one if you do have like some blankets that you can use. If you'd like, and if you have a blanket that you can open up to rest knees onto, and just open up that blanket and fold it up in a way so that it's wide enough, because you're going to take your knees wide like in a child, like a wide-legged child's pose. So just folding up your blanket and just set that across, sort of like midway down your mat. If you do have some props or some blankets or pillows that you can set up to rest your body onto, then you can set that up in front of your blanket. And then coming onto all fours, over top whatever props you may be using to rest your body onto. Start to take your knees wide, toes can come together, and then you can simply lay right down onto your props. You can turn your head one way, and I'll cue you so that you can turn your head the other direction halfway through. If you'd like to go a little deeper here, you can always take the shins towards 90 and flex into the feet. You can settle here in frog. If you don't have any props to rest your body onto, then it's simply sort of taking a child's pose here. So taking the knees wide, you can start to make your way down onto the mat. You can fold your arms and rest your forehead onto the hands. And keep the toes together, and this should be a pretty deep stretch for the inner legs. If you do want to go a little deeper, you can always start to take the shins towards 90. If you've got like a smaller blanket or pillow, you can always rest that underneath the chest. So wherever you are in your frog pose, just start to settle. Again, just connecting with your breath. We'll be here for 4 minutes. So 2 minutes, we'll turn our head the other direction. Again, making sure you're still breathing here. Nice deep inhales and exhales. And if you have your head turned in one direction, just simply turn your head the other way if that feels good for you. And finding your clearing breath here. Deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, sigh it all out. And slowly and carefully shifting out of your pose. And again, taking a moment to notice what your body is asking for and making your way into your counter pose. Again, your pose can have movement if your body is asking for movement. If your body wants stillness, you can settle into stillness. We're just taking a minute here to allow your body to rest and acclimate. And then make your way back up to a seat and we'll set up for our next pose. So the next pose we'll do is a shoulder stretch. So with that, just take your props over to the left side of your mat. So just having all of your props over towards your left, whether it's blankets or pillows. And let's set up something to rest your head on at the top of your mat. You're going to come to lay on your belly and then turning onto your right side of your face. You're going to lay onto your mat. We'll extend our right arm out to the side at shoulder height. So my right arm, I'm going to set it onto the floor at shoulder height, palm face down. And then start to roll onto your right side. Tuck the knees up. And we'll start into the stretch into our right shoulder. If this is already really deep and you want to back off slightly, then just walk your hand a little lower so that your arm or your hand comes lower than shoulder height. If you need a deeper stretch, walk your hand a little higher than shoulder height, but the palm stays down onto the floor. And then from here, if you have your props nearby, you can always take the knees or tuck blankets or pillows under the knees, or you can take it between the knees if that feels good. Your left hand can come in front to help hold you in this pose, or it can sort of give you a bit of a push, and you can start to turn your chest towards the ceiling. Or lastly, if you'd like, you can tuck that left hand behind your back and then just open up again a little more into the chest. So wherever you are, we'll be here for 3 minutes. And then taking your clearing breath once again, exhale to sigh it out. And then slowly making your way into your counter pose once again. Settling here for a minute. And then making your way back up, and we'll set up for the other side. So we'll shift our props over to the right side of our mat. Again, just taking whatever you feel you'll need to help settle you into your pose. Again, if you'd like a pillow at the top of your mat, whether it's an actual pillow or a folded up blanket or even a block, we'll come down to lay down onto our belly. And then this time we'll start with that left arm. Reach your left arm out to the side at shoulder height, palm faces down. Start to roll onto your left side of your body and tuck the knees up towards the chest. And again, do a check-in here. Notice if you need a deeper stretch or less of a stretch. So take your hand a little lower than shoulder height if you need to back off a little. Or you can walk your hand a little higher than shoulder height if you need a deeper stretch. So just finding the right stretch for you in your body. You can start to grab your props, and whether you want some blankets under knees or below the knees, setting your right hand either in front of the body to help hold you up, or you can always tuck your right hand behind the waist. So wherever you may be in your shoulder stretch, again, we'll start and settle here for 3 minutes. And take your deep clearing breath once again, inhaling through the nose. Exhale, sigh out the mouth. And then finding your way into your counter pose. Again, know that if your body is craving movement, then allow yourself to move here. If you're wanting stillness, just settle into a shape just to let your body rest and remember. And then making your way back up to a seat, and we'll set up for our next pose. So our next pose is banana asana. So it's sort of a crescent shape, but laying back. So you can keep your pillow where it is if you'd like a bit of a pillow for your head to rest on. So this one is really just a side bend. So you want to lay back onto your mat. And then just, again, if you find that you'd like a bit of a pillow or even use a blanket and create a bit of a neck roll for yourself, you can do that. And then just settle here on your mat. And then let's walk our feet over towards the right side of the mat. And you can even cross an ankle over top. You can experiment and see which ankle might feel better for you, if that's something that feels good in your body, or you can simply let the heels settle side by side. Start to reach your arms out behind you, holding your left wrist with the right hand. Start to pull yourself over towards the right side. So we're just creating this crescent shape in our bodies, getting this stretch across the left side. Right, really breathing into your left ribs. And we'll be here just for a minute. So breathing into that left side of the body. Noticing how the side bend feels. You can even see if you can shift a little deeper into the side bend, if that's something that works for you. Or just settle into stillness and just continue to breathe and stretch across the left side of the body. And take that deep inhale here. And exhale, let it go. Making your way back to center. And again, take a moment for your counter pose. If your body is asking for movement, you can always just rock a little from side to side. Right? You can settle into stillness and just lay in Shavasana. Just taking this moment to allow your body just to notice how each pose feels. Even taking this time to sort of notice the difference between one side of the body to the other. Noticing any sensations that the last pose has left. And then settle back onto your mat. Again, extend the legs out if they were bent. And we'll set up to do the other side. So start to walk the heels over to the left side of your mat. And again, take a moment, you can cross an ankle. Notice if one feels better than the other, or you can just keep the feet side by side. Start to reach your arms up overhead, and then grabbing onto that right wrist. Start to reach the arms over to the left side, creating this stretch across the right side of the body. And then again, we'll be here for 1 minute. Breathing into your right ribs, feeling that stretch all across the right side of the body. A deep inhale here, and exhale to sigh it out. Making your way back to center, and we'll settle into our final pose. So if your body is asking for Shavasana, just simply settle there. You can always prop some blankets or pillows under the knees. I'll just help to set up for reclined butterfly, which is always a nice pose to end the practice with. So if you're coming into reclined butterfly, if you've got some blankets or pillows stacked up, you can use those to lay onto. If you like a bit of an incline, you can always tuck a block underneath your blankets or pillows. You can use another blanket at the top of your prop to rest your head on. And then you can just turn your back to your props and then lay back onto the props. Take the soles of the feet together and let the knees fall out to either side. Open up the arms and take the palms face up. You can settle here for your final rest. Or if you'd like, you can even do this right on the mat without any props. This one's an easy one that you can transition into. So again, you can use a blanket or a pillow if you'd like something to rest your head onto. Laying back onto your mat. Again, take the soles of the feet together and let the knees fall out to either side. You can use some blocks and rest them underneath the knees, if you prefer, or under the thighs, just to help hold you in your pose. And wherever you are, just notice if you can soften your spine, soften the hips. Soften your shoulders, soften your face. If you're clenching the jaw, soften your jaw. Settle into your final rest. If you are in reclined butterfly, know that you can extend the legs out at any point. And then just make sure you're still breathing, taking those deep inhales and long, slow exhales. Start to deepen your breath. Start to bring some awareness back into your body. If your legs are still in butterfly, you could take the knees together and start to extend the legs out along the mat. You can start to invite some movement into the fingers and toes. You can make some circles with the ankles and the wrists. You can roll your hand from side to side, just gently waking the body back up. If you'd like to hug the knees in towards the chest and rock a little from side to side, you can do that as well. Take a moment to thank yourself for your practice today. And then when you're ready, you can roll onto one side and then slowly make your way back up to a seat. And thank you so much, everyone, for sharing your practice today. It's always an honor and such a joy to be a part of this practice. And I'm wishing everyone a safe and healthy rest of the week. Namaste. Thank you so much.